Hey YouTube, this is TheAdminShines here with another video. In today's video, I'm doing my Fear the Walking Dead Season 4 rewrite. So this is episode 3, La Casa. So there are references, kind of like references, not really, from Season 3. So there might be some things you guys don't understand. So basically, like with, let's say, for example, there's Nick and Madison, them talking on a boat, on like a little speedboat thing. In this, and then they kind of talk about their last conversation, or one of their last conversations in season 3. So yeah. So anyway, okay. I also wanted to talk about kind of like how him and Madison had like a really big argument about Troy and stuff like that. But then he's kind of like forgives her almost a bit, not really, but he's kind of like not mad at her at the end of season 4. So it's kind of like with this, when I'm rewriting this, I kind of like want to make him a little mad, but kind of like not. But yeah, anyway. The two jeeps arrive at John's home base. One of John's men walks up to him and tells John that the doctor has run away, referring to Eddie. Victor Strand is helped on the same bed John once laid on in season 3 by the two unnamed men that were in the vehicle with him. John yells at some of his men, telling him to find Eddie and bring him back alive. 5 soldiers obey him and leave for the search. John sees Helena and Carlos together. He walks up to them and welcomes them to La Casa, which is his base, what it's called, because it was never named in season 3. Alicia is alone with Victor in the medical room, trying to think of a way to escape. She looks around for a weapon and finds a scalpel, which she picks up and puts in her pocket. But then Victor Strand shows and gives her a gun that he stole from one of the guys that brought her in. Strand tells her that he had two, so he thought he might not notice that one is missing. Alicia takes the gun and gives the scalpel to Victor. Kaltaka, Walker, and Lee are on their way to El Bazaar. Lee is drinking water from his water bottle and offers Walker some of it, but is turned down. Daniel's face starts to sting some more. He rests and sits down on the ground. Nick kneels down, wondering if there's anything he can do. Daniel tells him to leave him. Nick tells Daniel that Daniel knows he can't do that. Nick Clark suggests finding a doctor, and that there might be one at El Bazaar. So if you don't really understand, it's basically like kind of skipping from different perspectives. That's basically what shows do. Madison Clark is aimlessly walking around the dam looking for his son with no luck. She calls for Nick, but hears no reply. Nick and Daniel hear Madison calling for him. Daniel sarcastically tells Nick that his mom is looking for him and that he better go and find her. Nick says that maybe she's with Alicia. So once Daniel is ready to get up, they try to find Madison. Madison meets up with Nick and Daniel Salazar. Nick and Madison don't share a hug, unlike Alicia and Madison did before when they first reunited. Daniel jokes, saying that Victor must be dead. Madison tells Daniel that Victor is with Dr. John. Nick asks where Alicia is, and Madison tells him that she's also with Dr. John. I don't know why I can say that. Lee asks Kaltaka Walker what they'll do now since the dam blew up. Jeremiah is dead, and so are the Clarks. Kaltaka tells Lee that Madison is not dead. Lee questions his friend. Walker tells Lee that she is the survivor and that he knows it, and that he knows she's not dead, and that if she's lucky, her kids are still alive too. Madison, Nick, and Daniel find a boat, which they take to John's house on the way. Madison brings up one of their last conversations together, and how she would never hurt him. Nick does not reply, nor does he look at her. Daniel is steering the motorized boat. He's only going with Nick and Madison because he wants to kill Victor and does not care if he dies in the process, since he's already lost everything, like his kids and his daughter and his wife. Madison brings up Troy, saying that he had potential and that she feels bad about killing him. Nick finally responds, saying that it could have been the same situation but reversed, with Jeremiah Otto killing Nick if he were still alive, instead of Madison killing Troy Otto. He also says that he and Troy were not much different, and that is the reason why he liked Troy. And that is also the reason why Madison liked Troy, and the reason why she killed him, insinuating that she might kill him one day. This time Madison does not reply to her son, knowing that he is right. So this kind of like this is what I was talking about, it kind of refers to like one of the last arguments where Nick's saying like, you might kill me. The zombies that Carlos attracted with his gun make their way towards the village. Eddie sees the herd of zombies and tells the Reyes family. Patrina tells her husband that they need to tell the other villagers. This is all spoken in Spanish. So when like Wes and like anybody from the village is speaking, they're most likely speaking Spanish. Wes goes from door to door telling the other villagers that zombies are coming. And not obviously doesn't they don't call them zombies, they just say like they're dead. But Trini goes to look for Mariana. She finds her playing with her friends. Petunia tells Mariana's friends to go to their families because it's not safe. Eddie asks Diana what they should do. Diana tells Eddie that they all need to leave because the villagers are not fit to fight. Eddie, Diana, and all the villagers are rounded up in front of the village, staring at the oncoming horde. A villager asks in Spanish whether they can take the herd or not. Wes tells them that they can't and that they need to leave. People start to ask where they will go. Wes does not have an answer, and neither does Eddie or Diana. Madison, Nick, and Daniel arrive at La Casa. Proctor John welcomes them. He sees that Daniel's face has been shot and says that he would have a man named Eddie help him out, but he does not know where Eddie is. Daniel rejects John and asks him where Victor is. John tells Daniel that Victor's in the infirmary. John asks why Daniel wants to know this information, but Daniel ignores him and keeps walking. Nick, knowing what Daniel wants, tries to stop him. Nick and Daniel are out of view from Madison and John. Or not out of view, but out of like earshot distance. Nick does not want Madison to know that Daniel wants to kill Victor, so he kind of like doesn't say like, "Hey, come on, you can't kill Victor," until he's certain that Madison can't hear. Sorry. Madison asks John what is going to happen now. John tells Madison that he will keep her family safe like he promised as long as they go to Texas with him. He wants to expand his group, so that's why he's going to Texas. Watch season 3. John tells Madison that he has lost a lot of good men and that he needs more. He asks her if she'll be loyal to him. Madison tells him that she's loyal to her family. John smiles and says that her answer was a good one. Victor sees Daniel look for him through a window. He tries to hide. He's still in the infirmary. Victor tells Alicia about Daniel. Alicia rushes out to see Daniel and asks him where Nick is. I kind of want to be more descriptive, like with my points, because I'm doing like bullet points. I kind of want to be more descriptive and just maybe like when they're saying like Nick tells blah blah blah. Maybe it's like Nick says and then exactly what Nick says. Because there's just like a lot of things where I'm like, oh, that's exactly what Nick would say, because like he's kind of like a different type of way of saying things. Daniel tells Alicia Clark that Nick was asked by some of John's men to have. Yeah, Alicia rushes out. Daniel tells Alicia Clark that Nick was asked by some of John's men to have to have a talk with John. Alicia's concerned. Alicia asks for her mom. Daniel tells Alicia where he last saw her mom. Alicia wants to tell Madison about what Daniel told her, but she remembers that Daniel is near Victor, and from what Victor told her, Daniel will kill Victor if he can. Alicia stays with Daniel to lead him off into another direction. Carlos and Helena see and hear John and some of his men talk to Nick. John is mad at Nick and asks what his scheme was on the dam when he blew it up. He tells Nick that the dam was going to be his and that he wants Alicia, and to have Alicia. He needs Madison and Nick alive, so he can't kill Nick, but he would. John tells Nick that he wants Alicia to go to Texas with him, but Madison said that she and Nick would have to come as well, and that he agreed when talking to Madison, but he promises Nick that he will not go to Texas with his family, even though, again, he promised Madison that Nick would go, so he's breaking the promise. Nick is let go after this and is told not to tell anyone about what just happened. Helena, along with Carlos, go to tell Madison what they just heard, but are stopped by John and his men. So yeah, that's basically it. I read, like, writing this, I read lots of like interviews and stuff like that about like Dave Erickson, where he would take the characters and everything. So I have like little like notes on like who's gonna die, what's gonna happen between Victor and Daniel, what's gonna happen between Nick and Madison, what's just gonna happen with Alicia. Not much on what Proctor John. I'm kind of like writing him like, I don't know, because he doesn't seem like a crazy guy, you know what I mean? He kind of seems a little reasonable, so I kind of want to make him seem a little nice, almost like the governor at the very beginning, with the main show, but not like crazy. There's stuff with the Bazaar, the El Bazaar. I don't really have much stuff on Kawataka Walker and Lee, but they're just kind of side characters. Carlos and Helena, they're new characters. Same with the Reyes family, and Diana and Eddie. I don't really have much on them. I kind of did change Diana's what's it called, personality up a bit. Eddie didn't really have much personality, but it did change kind of Diana's personality up a bit. Or I didn't really change it, but I haven't been following her what her personality was in season 3, so I'm gonna try to keep following that. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. Subscribe, like for more, and bye. Episode.